I live in North Charleston, South Carolina. I have a little 2-year-old. She's in daycare right now, and then my lovely wife and my dad. He lives with us too. We like to go to the park, go to the dog park a lot, the beach whenever the weather is nice. We're very outdoorsy. We go on vacations a lot. We definitely like to travel. For me, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to going to the doctor. My wife always pushed me out to go to the doctor. I have a cold, so it wasn't horrible, but it was getting there. So she gave me a call and was like, hey, download this app and you can go ahead and FaceTime a doctor so you won't have to go to urgent care. And at first I was hesitant. I was like, oh, well, let me check into it. So I read up on the app, went ahead and downloaded it and went through the process.
Patients typically will access telehealth. They have a hard time getting in to see a doctor. They're busy at work, they have kids, they have life, and sometimes it's hard to see a doctor. And so the cool thing about telehealth is it brings healthcare on their terms.
When you're feeling horrible because you're under the weather, you don't really want to go out or go to the doctor and sit with other sick people. So it was very convenient for me because I really was feeling kind of down and didn't really feel like going outside or getting myself together to leave the house.
The way that telehealth works, we have a network of physicians called our online care group, and they're actually physicians throughout South Carolina who are board certified either in family medicine, internal medicine, emergency medicine, and that's how the structure works. So there's physicians all throughout the state who are on call for a certain amount of time. Usually in 2-hour blocks, we'll take a call.
They have a list of doctors on there. You can go down the list and pick. It'll tell you all the doctors that are available.
What I typically do is I'll take a 2-hour block and I can actually set myself in the system to be available where the patient can see me and they can ask. And I get an alert on my cell phone or my iPhone watch that'll bing and say, you've got a patient in your waiting room. I can be in the middle of taking care of patients, and then if I have access and availability, I can go see that patient on the telehealth platform, or I can push them on to the next provider in the network. So there's no long waits for the patients. And so their name shows up and I get an alert. I click on the name and what opens up is their demographics as well as any information pertaining to their chief complaint for that day, including they can upload high density photos of their rash or whatever they want to show me. And so I'll spend some time going through that information, and I'll also look at their previous record history and see if they were just recently seen for something, if they were given a prescription. And then you just launch the app and immediately patient and I are sitting there looking at each other, able to talk through the scenario.
I just called and he asked me how I was feeling, looked down my throat, and had me feel under my throat. Went through that, asked me some questions and stuff like that, and went ahead with his diagnosis.
So when I first got into telehealth, I thought this is going to be hard. I can't touch the patient, I can't interact with them in the same way. Surprisingly though, it is not difficult. Number one, the patient's comfortable, they're in their own environment, they're able to it breaks down some of those barriers that you have in the hospital when they're very anxious, they're stressed, they're in their comfortable home or they're in their car often contacting me. So that's easy. And also the disease processes that we see are really usually minor emergencies, minor illnesses, and they lend themselves very well to the high definition camera, being able to get in there and see a rash, see the back of the patient's throat. So a lot of the physical exam elements that I was a little bit concerned as a clinician, how am I going to do this through telehealth? It's really easy to do.
He actually just talked to me like he normally would. Went down the list of asking me questions. It felt convenient because I didn't have to leave my home, but it felt like a regular FaceTime conversation, and it was pretty smooth.
It's very much like a traditional physical exam, but I'm not touching them. I'm able to look in the back of their throat with a high density camera. I'm able to get them to palpate different areas of their body. So they have lymph nodes, they can identify them. They can show me their rashes. So it's pretty easy to go and examine a patient through telehealth.
I know a lot of guys, we tend to stay home a lot when we get sick and not want to go to the doctor. And it's very simple to just download it, put your information in there, and and at least get a sense of what's wrong with you versus just trying to, give yourself NyQuil.
So healthcare is very, very important, but it's not the thing. The thing is life, living your life, enjoying your life.